is a man who lives a life of danger, and despite everyone he meets, he stays a stranger. Because with every move he makes, and with every stake he bakes, he's not going to, odds are he won't live to see tomorrow. It's Hitman! It's from IO Interactive and Squeenix via Feral Interactive. It's on the Glacier engine. You can pick it up for your standard AAA price of $49 because I don't know what a euro symbol is apparently, or $69.99 Canadian, but it's on sale now until Monday for 50% off. What is it? Become the master assassin in an intense spy thriller story across a world of assassination. Travel the world from France, Italy, and Morocco to Thailand, US, and Japan to take out powerful and high-profile targets. They sent us keys, and Ben has asked me to include the fact that Craig Hibbert hates our guts. He has donated a $1 to our Patreon.
Upped his pledge to $2.50.
Yeah, he's $2.50. So you get some show note access, and we're back to doing regular streams. Go, Craig. We hate you and also love you. Chairquisition. 1 chair means that it's garbage. 2 chairs means that's meh. 3 chairs means that's pretty good. 4 chairs means that it's awesome. Also got our categories. Oh, dude, mixed with working, shiny sounds, controls, and fun. So then let's kick this off. Kick it over the ledge. Mixed with working.
Boom. Over here, mixed with working on the Ubuntu 1604 LTS box business, 8 gigajoules of RAM, a couple of SSDs, powered by a 980, one of those crusty old things, displayed at glorious UHD 3840 by 2160. How does it run? Well, it holds a solid-ish 30 on medium at 1080p. I didn't even try this at UHD. Now, in all fairness, the Windows build runs like shite, according to what I was reading in the Steam forums. Load times on just a single SSD, I didn't put it in YOLO RAID, about 10 seconds a level. Pretty decent. And here on the 8150, Pedro had different results. Here in the Team Red, reasonably multi-threaded. I mean, it wasn't maxing anything out, but all 8 cores were doing their business. And again, I was running on 1604. I didn't have any system warnings, but I think Pedro might have another issue with that.
Yep.
And I know you're already thinking, so MJ, is the Hitman always on DRM? The world's burning. Microsoft is something. I don't know what the fuck ever. Sit back for one hot damn minute, because one of the good things about not getting a day one release is that Squeenix has had some time to backtrack a little on their draconian always on, because fuck you, that's why DRM bullshit that they tried to pull with this fucking game, son. Now you can actually play offline, and it no longer kicks you out of your current game if your connection is interrupted, and you can still just play in an offline mode in a limited thing. And they've reintroduced your ability to save when you can feel like it. All in all, at the end of the day, take that shot. I think this is a very good performer out of the box with a solid 4 chairs.
So I downloaded this game. It was a 40 gigabyte download. I started it when I got home, and it finished when I went to sleep. So I came back on Friday. I'm like, I'm going to play some Hitman. It's going to be fun. I'm going to assassinate some people, assassinated them. And I came across a bug because this thing statically links against a libSSL and lib at your /lib64 that expects version information to be present in the library, and also expects you to support OpenSSL 1.0.0, which is deprecated and should not be used. Fedora wisely removes it to prevent protocol downgrade attacks. Ubuntu, not so much.
Yeah, that's see, that's not a bug. That's Feral saying fuck you if you don't use Ubuntu 16.10.
That's called Feral saying fuck you if you use a secure version of OpenSSL, because we can't be arsed to have better support. But as I said, I went through quite the endeavor to try and fix this. I replaced their libcurl with my libcurl, which fixed a lot of the dependency issues, but that still requires the header information to be present embedded in the library, which would then require me to replace my system libSSL with one from Ubuntu, and I didn't want to do that because that's just going to break my system in new and exciting ways, and I actually like being able to use my computer. Fortunately, I have an abundance of stolen solid-state drives, and I decided to throw Martin Wimpress a bone and threw Ubuntu Mate on one of them so that I could at least play the game and give you my thoughts, because the lovely folks did send us some keys, and I would be remiss to completely write off their game if it does not work on my distribution of choice. That being said, even on that other supported OS, I had a predictable crash when attempting to load save games, which was fun. It would just nope to desktop. And in Intel Land, on medium at 1080p, it hangs around 47, 55 frames a second. At UHD, it struggles to maintain 30. And even then, when it's running very, very well in that sort of 47 to 55 FERPS range, there's quite a bit of the choppy chops. So, because, Feral said, fuck you, you're running Fedora. We like our insecure version of OpenSSL. I give them a big old fuck you middle finger, one chair.
Yeah, no, it was an emotional roller coaster when I first started the game, and you get dropped in a helicopter, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm getting like 140 FERPs. Well, if this holds up, this will be an awesome game.
Yeah, everyone had that experience.
Yeah, and then the cutscene starts. Oh, I'm looking at 10 frames per second now. Yeah, that's not good. So I fired up HTOP, had a look at what the threads were doing. Yep, there was one max thread, and all of the other 7 were going, 10, 20%-ish. And the performance kind of sucked. It wasn't exactly like Deus Ex Mankind Divided bad, but it's not exactly good either. Now, the game does list in the Steam page that 1604 is the minimum requirement. But for some reason, when I first started the game, the feral screen of nope showed up and said, you are running an unsupported system. It's like, I'm running Ubuntu Mate 1604. What the hell is your fucking problem? So, for me, with the 1080, which didn't even get up to like 30% of the GPU, it gets 3 chairs.
No, I'm actually going to cut in for a very rare thing. I do want to say neither of you two running Ubuntu Mate Wimpy, we love you. We're running the recommended system requirements. I didn't get those issues. I'm not sticking up, Feral. I'm just stating facts.
I didn't have a crash.
I'm pretty sure Ubuntu Mate's customization doesn't extend to system level libraries, but Wimpy, correct us on that. Send your hate mail to Ven this time around. It's good times. So that is 2 chairs for Makes with the Working. Up next is Shiny and the Sounds. Ven, did it shine or sound?
Well, hey man, at medium it looks a notch better than the PS4 version, so we got that going for us. We're really crushing that 4-year-old laptop hardware. Unfortunately, it has roughly the same frame rate as that 4-year-old laptop hardware with my 5-year-old CPU. Each sandbox, it's quite large and it's detailed. Plenty of places to go fuck around and explore. It's really nice. I mean, even just like the demo levels, well before you actually, get out into the game proper, there's a lot of shit going on. There's a lot of stuff to do. There's new and interesting ways to nope people. And yeah, it's good stuff because each one of those levels, the character models, and the animation rig and everybody walking around, it is done just so. I mean, it's very viable. You get something's going on and you don't have all the random NPC flip outs immediately. I was, however, put off just a bit by the sound. Not the shooty, killy, soundy effects. No, those work. Those are completely legit. I've heard that. I read in a book that shit sounds legit, 100%. What I'm talking about is the atmosphere, or I guess I should say, I guess I should say, the lack of. I mean, it just sounds hollow, and you really notice that when you go to your first fashion show title, fashion show, and you're walking down the runway. That's not what it sounds like when you're walking down a runway, girlfriend. I mean, it doesn't really sink you into it. It kind of seems like there's some ambient ASRM noise going on, and then, random people talking around you. It doesn't really suck you in. But it is pretty enough for what it is, what it's trying to be. And, the sounds for what you really need them there for, they're there. I can't give it a solid 4, but I'm going to throw 3 in its general direction.
Yeah, it's a very good-looking game. I was quite surprised. All the animations are fluid, all the models are on point. Everything looks really, really good. It's what you would expect from a recent AAA game. And we have it on Linux, which is crazy. I love it. And, what Ven and later on Pedro will mention, outside the training mission, the sound design is fairly on point. I like how you can basically wander around and eavesdrop on a bunch of different conversations. And they actually sort of require you to do that for some of the more esoteric kill methods, which I always go for because that's where all the fun stuff is. If I go around with a gun killing people, that's boring. I want to be the undetectable ghost. So you gotta listen for stuff. It's very well done. The sounds sort of zoom in and out. It kind of reminds me of the way Assassin's Creed did it, and I'm pretty sure Ubisoft is not suing Squeenix for this, but they might. The voice acting, on that note, the voice acting is very well done as well. It's your standard stable of AAA voice actors. You got your mass murderers, yeah, sure. Yeah, your Liam O'Briens, all those guys. At least I think that's them. They're in there, and they sound really good. Like Ben said, though, the environments are huge and labyrinthine and very, very well designed. And it's really cool to explore the entire place because there is a sense of scale to this game that I think the game captures very, very well about how you move about one of these places to assassinate your target. Very well done. I'm quite impressed. I think it's worth 4 chairs.
Yeah, much like Ven during the first few quote-unquote training missions, the lack of background noise was odd. But once I got into the proper missions, like the Paris mission, the background noise, it's spot on, at least for as much as my ears could pick up on it. They actually took care to have the background noise it sounds a little bit different depending on where you're standing and what kind of room you're in. Whether it's soundproofed or it's just like bare stone. You don't want to see that. And even though I had to keep the shadows on medium so the FERPs wouldn't tank, the game looks really, really, really good. It's amazing how much detail every single NPC has and the stupid amount of environmental storytelling that the levels are packed with. And the levels are huge. They're really, really big levels. I have many complaints about this game, spoilers, but the aesthetics ain't one. 4 chairs.
Wait,
no, well, that's
4 chairs. Okay, I was too busy writing someone back. Go ahead. What were you saying?
That'd be 3 chairs for the shiny, and the sounds. Up next is the controls. Then out of control.
Well, I played it with this critter here, the X-Clone controller. Since kind of like Tomb Raider, using the gerbil did genuinely feel a bit like cheating. Well, I should say aiming felt a bit like cheating. Seriously, if you want to nope an entire room of baddies, just hold down left trigger and use your gerbil to aim and fire. It's so delightfully unfair. I love it. Good times. However, that said, I figure a game like this was built in Genesis from the ground up to be used with a controller, and all types of controllers are apparently supported. So good on you, Farrell, and that lot. However, everything just worked as expected, and I just want to say kudos for anyone that can actually, use this to aim without target lock or anything like that. I mean, you genuinely kind of have my respect. But yeah, I mean, it's solid 3, no lying.
The reticule is actually big enough that you can use the stick and still hit what your intended target is. So you can effectively use the controller for aiming. Well, big old air quotes around effectively, but you get my point. But hey, proper prompts for the DualShock 4. And if you go to the control screen, it actually shows you your PlayStation 4 controller and all the appropriately located buttons. Farrell, be more consistent when it comes to this. I like when you do this. Do it more. Don't be like DSX and just oh, hey, yeah, it's an Xbox controller. We're just going to give you Xbox prompts and I got to go. No, X means 2 different things. Everything is mapped semi-sensibly. It takes a little bit of getting used to just because it's its own style of game with the wandering around murdering people. Nothing feels particularly sluggish. Everything, the guy moves when you expect him to. The only nitpick I have, I'll get into that a little bit more in the fun segment, is melee combat eats. Oh man.
Quick time events. Woohoo!
No, not even quick time events, because Mad Max did that, and it did it effectively, because then you could actually take multiple enemies down. This guy, not so much. Still, From the control perspective, not necessarily the game system, 4 chairs. Very good.
Well, I was the idiot who played this game with the mouse and keyboard. I did actually try the Steam controller, and I tried switching between the two. And it's one of those games that's really well done, because the moment you hit a key on the keyboard, it switches to the keyboard prompts in the game. And the moment you wiggle the analog stick to move around in the controller, it just gives you the controller prompts. So, hey, good on Feral for that. But there was an issue.
No one can talk in this review.
I am one of those people that I play with the directional arrows because my gerbil is on the left. So I need to rebind a load of shite that is usually bound around the Wazzat keys. Now, in Hitman, you can't rebind keys if they already have an action assigned to them. Most games, in other games, they will either double bind actions to a single key or unbind the previous action, or in the case of many games, first one that comes to mind is actually Borderlands 2. Whenever you're trying to assign a key that's already been bound, it asks you whether you want to overwrite or keep it as it was. In Hitman, if a key is bound, you can't bind it to another action, period, until you've unbound the first action, and that involves going through the list to find what that key is bound for and finding a key that is not bound to anything in the game and replacing that. I don't know whether this is lazy or just asinine user experience design, but it's bad. 3 chairs.
All right. Well, that is 3 chairs for the control section. Let's wrap this up with fun. Ven, did you have fun playing Hitman?
Hitmango? Hey man, listen, I gave Mr. Agent 47 Pants the 2-hour Pepsi challenge, because that's always well inside that refund window that a lot of people, if they don't, it doesn't matter if they like the game or not, like, oh, I'll give it back. Did it entrap me? I mean, granted, this is something you need to definitely take with a grain of chainsaw, because, I've never played or seen a Hitman game before, so I genuinely did not know what to expect. However, I did see Agent 47 movie film for theaters, so I was kind of expecting some superhuman assassin badassery. And yeah, let's talk about that. You start out and you do a few training missions that teach you the basics. You go through the first one twice, followed by a final test that requires you to nope a chess master. Done. And period. Done. I got it. Then it's off to a fashion show, and, well, then the game, it's going to start proper. It didn't really fall apart at this point. No, it didn't. It didn't. This is actually where I let out an audible fucking really, because all I've learned up to this point is how to be Mr. Sneaky Barcode Head. And then I had my first, at the fashion show, my first little bit of combat experience, and all I can say to that is, oof. Because, you look at games like Combat and Shadow of Mordor. It was great. Mad Max, definitely passable. Hitman is bad. Wait, nay, even worse. It's boring. Well, boring in an uncharacteristic way of a superhuman assassin badass that you're supposed to be. Seriously, there's no combo system, there's no chain system, and Agent 47 is supposed to be able to nope an entire room of motherfuckers all by himself. I mean, at least what I've been led to believe by watching the 2 movies. But you know what? Fine. I will stick to sneaking around and setting up improbable, elaborate traps. It's kind of fun. Until one little mistake causes a cascading chain of nope that ends up getting me killed to death. Well, it ended up getting me killed to death until I actually read the loading screen while I was reloading that game. And it said to me, hey guy, save early, save often. To which I replied to the game, Squeenix, where exactly is the fun in that, ? Might as well just give me a fucking rewind feature. It'll save a lot of time. I don't mind doing this, but you're like, hey man, save spam. This is how you beat this game. You don't have to worry about it. Infinite lives. Hell, might as well just retitle the fuck mothering game Live, Die, Repeat. Some people get that, some people don't. That said, all that said, oh, you're just hating on it. No. I'm not hating on it. It's not a horrible game at all. It's just a tiny little bit of all right. But I do have to be genuine here. It's definitely a bit negative in the challenging dimension. It's something that you can beat if you just have enough time and patience. There's It's not really skill-based. It's patience-based. So what I guess I'm trying to say, I mean, if you're looking around for, just a fuck-around murder simulator, this game might be for you. And it's pretty good at that. And again, what I said in Genesis, I didn't know what the hell a Hitman game was. I mean, trust me, if Agent 47, I knew, I was like, oh, there's a horrible movie. And I was like, it's a popcorn movie. You just zone the fuck out and watch, Slaughterfest 9000. If this game was that movie, I would have walked out of the damn theater. So, yeah, I mean, I got to give it 2 cheers, which isn't saying it's bad. It's just not what I was expecting. But, I don't know. Jordan, am I crazy?
Yeah, but that's beside the point. Piggybacking on your thing, I think a perfectly appropriate alternate title for this game would be All You Need Is Kill. And and like the 2 of you in the audience who actually get that reference, you're awesome. And also probably about as lonely as I am. But this is a game that requires a lot of patience. You're skulking around, waiting for some NPC to drop a piece of information that you can use to get around the impossible security. You're hiding in a closet, waiting for some suspicious dude to leave you the fuck alone because he didn't like the way you look, because he thinks your bald head is really, really sexy and has to rub it. It's kind of weird. And you're waiting for your goddamn mark to get into place, shutting the fuck up and turning around so you can execute his punk ass. And that is the crux of my major problem with this game. Is all the assassination bits are really, really cool. It is super fun to go around trying and find the various ways that you can actually execute these people, and doing it in a way that you can't be detected. That is the thing I like about this game. It's what I liked about Snake Eater and the other Metal Gear Solids. So to plagiarize a bit from Pedro, Ego Raptor on YouTube did this wonderful, wonderful video on why The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time isn't as good as people remember it. And he brought up a really good point about how a lot of the fights, they're not necessarily challenging, but you have to wait a lot. And that imparts the illusion of difficulty. And that's what I see a lot here. Because in the fashion show, I noped the first guy. I did the thing where you disguise yourself as one of his security guards and you wait for everyone to leave and then you toss him over a fucking balcony. I missed my opportunity to turn into the fashion model, which I was a bit sad about. I was debating restarting the mission for that, but I decided, you know what? I'm just going to go and murder this chick. And oh my God, she just talks forever and drinks forever. And you're standing there and you're following her and no one notices you, but you're just waiting for her to do something so that you can throw your coin and throw her guard off and then grab her in a room and drown her in a toilet or something. I don't know. And it just gets painful. And if you screw something up, you gotta wait through all that crap again, unless you save scum, which, like Ben said, it doesn't really help with the difficulty. It just is an inconvenience thing, and it's just like, oh well, I gotta reload, and I just found myself doing that. Oh, I got caught by camera. Let's just reload. Oh, this guy got suspicious about me. Let's reload. And it doesn't really do it for me. I get that it's part of the game's assumed difficulty, but it just feels pointlessly punishing and detracts from the power fantasy of being this invisible assassin that runs around and murders people. And the other thing, like Ven said, melee combat in this game eats. You get into this 1-2 punch where you hit 1-2 punch loop where you hit square and then you hit triangle. And if another guy is in the fight, you gotta hit square on him and triangle. And you gotta repeat this until you do it in such a way that there's a split second where the first guy is on the floor long enough that you can hit square to knock him out so that you can finally knock out the other guy. And that was just tedious. That was a 5-minute fight on my part. And that was just the most annoying, asinine shit I think I've ever played. But there's good elements to this game. It's gorgeous. The environments are huge. There's so many ways you can kill your targets, and I just want to try them all. But the amount of waiting involved, the time investment just doesn't do it for me. I'd rather play something like Owlboy, which will have a progression that actually has a decent pace, as opposed to this game where it's just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. I want to like it. And maybe if I didn't have to install another operating system to play it, I maybe would have had a better opinion of it. But as it stands, it gets 2 cheers and fun.
Yeah, for a game about stealth and all the different ways you can murder someone, it's very limited and very contextual as to how you can navigate the level and the agency you're given as a player. Then again, I was never that big a fan of the Hitman series, so complaining about all the nitpicks and the artificial limitations of this particular entry in the series is probably just confirmation bias rather than anything productive. So, I guess all I can say is that this one didn't really change my mind. I tend to be a little too anal about stealth, even at the best of times, but Hitman drives that in by fucking you over at every chance it gets. Often, I'll just end up frustrated and hitting Alt F4 the moment an NPC spots me because I can't be asked to do all of that again. For a game so clearly trying to pad out its experience by letting you solve any of the assassination puzzles in shit tons, metric fucking shit tons of different ways, it fails miserably at keeping me even moderately interested past the first time I cock up a takedown and someone spots me. I figure that since they're trying to reboot the series, hence the game just being called Hitman trademark, maybe they had shaken up the formula enough to get me interested. Well, they didn't. Judging by how so many people seem to enjoy it, though, maybe I'll just chalk this one up as just another one of those series that I don't enjoy, regardless of how well it's done. Because outside of the Linux port, it is a well-done game. But even being aware of that, all I can muster is a resounding meh. 2 chairs.
Well, that's 2 chairs for fun. We wrap this all up with a nice little bald bow, and it gets 2 chairs as the final score. So, final thoughts before we kill this review. Get it? Because it's about Hitman.
I definitely think it comes at a price. Now, you can piecemeal this thing out, I still think. But, I mean, if you're buying the full Monty with this, you just got to keep that in mind. But, again, with my personal thing, because I know Foxy has some thoughts on it, but Foxy really likes it. And I was like, that's cool. That's awesome. Because, you know, we love having different opinions. And I know Strider, I don't even know if Strider's played it, but Strider's like, everything is
yeah,
great
no,
about...
he's dumped about 3 hours in it.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Good on you, Striker. We love you, buddy. And, you know, if you like it, you like it. Again, if you're like me and you've never played a Hitman title, mind these words. Because Hitman should be defined as a third-person stealth assassination game. No more. It's no less. It's not what I was going into. What I was looking for was like Agent 47, the movie. And, you know, because I kind of want a Max Payne-style Hitman. It didn't deliver it for me. I'm not faulting this game because I know a lot of people are like, well, this is a really good Hitman in the series, but then a lot of people are like, I don't know if I really like this. But I think a lot of the mixed reviews that you're seeing on Steam is because that initial launch, it had 2 strikes going against it. A, it was episodic, and B, it had that bullshit Squeenix DRM stuff, which, hey, all right.
Yeah, no, it's a good game. I can recognize its many, many strengths, but I was never that big a fan of the other old Hitman games that I played, and this one didn't really shake the formula enough for me to like it. So yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, this game is very much a lesson in the art of suspense. Yeah, and that's really it. If you don't mind waiting around and you sort of get off on hiding in closets, watching people waiting for a chance to kill them, I was going to go in a very different direction there, but I decided against it for you lovely people, because this is a family show. I've said this before. Yeah, it really is the epitome of 2 chairs. It has a lot of stuff I like and a lot of stuff I don't, and finding that middle ground to maybe push it to that 3-chair thing, to that 3-chair space. It maybe needs a little more good and a little less bad, and maybe requires me to have it not require me to install Ubuntu. Just saying, Brad.